Finally tonight, on a beautiful evening, a story about barbecuing, but not about the meat and not about the secret sauce. No, this is a story about where, for a lot of people, barbecuing begins, the charcoal. Well, we wanted to know where the charcoal begins. So last year, we headed into the heart of Missouri charcoal country. Steelville, Missouri is probably best known to St. Louisans as a place you go for a float trip on the Merrimack River. And it used to be, when the wind was blowing right, it smelled like, well, something was on fire or everybody was having a cookout. Until somebody told you that this is charcoal country. Outside of town, you'll find an old sign. In fact, based on the looks of it, you might think it was a relic of something long gone. But it's not. You just can't follow your nose here anymore. You have to have directions. When you see what appears to be an endless supply of bundles and bundles of wood, you've found the right place. And the right guy. For Henry Strumpf is not just a charcoal maker, but now he is an expert, self-taught, on pollution controls, which is why he is still in the business of helping us cook our pork steaks, or portobellos, as the case may be. It all starts with this, and Henry Strumpf has acres of this kind of wood. When the lumber mills square off their big logs, they don't have much use for these outside pieces. The charcoal makers do. And they'll let it sit out here for maybe a year or so before it's ready to be turned into charcoal.
We try to get at least 3 to 4 tractor trailer loads a day.
Henry took me up to show me the charcoal kilns. That's where the wood goes in, and a week later, the charcoal comes out.
This is where it starts. We get the wood and we put it in with a loader, the bundles of slabs.
Just as they are.
Just as they are. And we stack it as full as we can get it. And we've got this one here started.
After filling the kiln about halfway, they build what they call the firebox. They stack up some of the bigger pieces from a previous batch that didn't burn quite enough, and they use that to start the new fire.
And then we just go ahead and stack our bundles on top of that, and then just come on back out here with some more bundles and keep till we get plumb to the door. And we got what we call down logs underneath our slabs to hold it up, so to get air so it will burn.
Right, so that's the air circulation is down under here.
Yes.
And coming in from the pipes.
In our air hose along the sides, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Then how do you actually start that fire?
We get a rod with a rag on it at the end, at the door, and light it and shove it underneath there all the way back to what we call the firebox where we had built. They usually 3 days that these actually burn. And then you got 3 to 4 days of cooking.
Right. Charcoal is one of those ancient fuels. Sometime way back in history, somebody discovered that if you burned wood very slowly with limited air, say covered with dirt in a hole in the ground, you would create this. It burns without smoke, burns evenly, burns very, very hot. Blacksmiths used it, iron foundries used it. Only in modern times have we discovered its applications in barbecue technology. Henry Strumpf makes lump charcoal here outside Steelville. Briquettes are made in Missouri too, but a lot of barbecuing aficionados, purists, want the unadulterated stuff that comes right out of the kiln, lump charcoal.
Well, for sure they wanted to perform better than briquettes. Well, it's got to be dry. It's got to be kind of not too small or not too big to work for barbecuing. Yeah. And I think my fabrication here, my bagging plant and shaker does that for me.
The smallest pieces that don't go in the bags pile up off to the side. But this too is going to be used, sent off to another charcoal plant where it will be ground up and pressed into briquettes. Henry Strumpf first started working at a charcoal plant when he was 18, and he became part of a very long Ozark tradition. People have been making charcoal in these parts about as long as they've been chopping trees. This part of Missouri has turned out all kinds of lumber products: railroad ties, barrel stays, wooden pallets. At the sawmills, though, there's always a lot of scrap from those logs, pieces that can't be used to build anything. And that's where charcoal comes in. There was a time when making charcoal was one of those things Ozark residents could do to make a little money on the side. And for generations, smoke from wood scraps burning slowly into charcoal filled the hills and the towns of the Missouri Ozarks. But not anymore. Although Ozark legislators successfully fought against it for years, Missouri finally became the last state to require pollution controls on its charcoal kilns.
I run these afterburners, especially this yellow one, at 1,400 degrees in it all the time.
Even with tax credits for the new equipment, a lot of small operators in what had once been a low-tech cottage industry decided to shut down or sell out to a bigger company.
There's not but probably 6 of us guys left. I was going to quit, but I don't know. When you got kids driving you and your wife driving you, so I just decided, well, I'll try it. So I did.
He didn't just go out and buy an afterburner. The ones he'd seen were too expensive to operate. He knew he needed a more efficient system to limit his fuel costs. So he set out to build his own.
This yellow afterburner here is my first one I made. I kind of designed it all myself.
Have other guys come and said to you, what did you do? Give me the plans. Can I do the same thing?
Well, the plans is standing here. That's the only thing I can tell them. Right there it is. They can see it.
And if you can figure it out, you can do it too.
You can do it. You can do it. There's a lot of money in one of these because I worked it and reworked it because I didn't know what I was doing. Like now, I can build one like $40,000 cheaper than the first one because it cost me so much money to rework it.
Maybe you should go into the afterburner business and get out of the charcoal business.
Well,
have you thought about it?
No, I don't want no part of it. I just want to burn charcoal is all I want to do.
And that's just what he's doing. Although folks in Steelville may think he's gone out of business. That's how effective the afterburners are. Today, Henry Strumpf wouldn't have it any other way, but there was a time when he wondered just what he had gotten himself into.
It's pretty sad because it almost makes you sick because you don't know whether you're going to be able to do this and stay in operation after you spend this money, which if you just took your money and quit, you'd had that money. Well, I guess I'm unfortunate because it worked for me.
So now you have to stay in business
well,
to pay it off.
Well, it's true. True.
And so, Henry Strumpf took on the challenge and survived. This business, as industries go, isn't much to look at. It is dirty and dusty, but it is what Henry Strumpf does. That, and when necessary, he builds afterburners.